Hi folks, good to talk to you again this month. This is the final part in this series where we've been looking at the importance of not making history, but changing the future. Rooted in the challenging words of Paul to Timothy in 2 Timothy 2:2, where Paul writes these words, "You've heard me teach things that have been confirmed by many reliable witnesses. Now teach these truths to other trustworthy people who'll be able to pass them on to others." Living a baton-carrying marathon relay faith. And so we've talked about the importance, using that marathon analogy, of running our race, not being crippled by comparison, but embracing the plans and purposes that God has got for us and not wasting our time worrying about what God's doing in other people. We've talked about the importance of running our race well, giving it our best, whether life is good or life is tough, that we want to show and role model and be an example to the generations who come what it means to live for God, even when life is tough, setting a high standard, breaking new barriers so that they can go even further. And then last time, we talked about the importance of handing on the baton, investing in people, discipling people, giving genuine responsibility for people so that they can go on to do great things. I don't know whether you've ever seen a marathon race, I'm sure you have, or certainly a relay race. And when it comes to the relay change, you never see the person who's passed the baton on then turning around and just walking to the changing room. What do? They cheer like crazy. And that's my final encouragement at the end of this series, is that not only must you run your race, not only must you run it well, not only must you pass the baton on, but when you do that, be a cheerleader, be an encourager, be someone who inspires and challenges and encourages and cheers on the next generation to do great things. One of the tragedies today is it seems there's so much cynicism and so much negativity in the church today, and we need to see that change. I remember speaking in a church in Kent once, and at the end of the service, I gave a thank you from the stage to a bunch of people who'd been our hosts for the day, and they'd looked after us really well and given us sandwiches and refreshments and just been amazing. And so I asked the church to put their hands together to thank those people. And when the service is finished, this guy walks down the center aisle towards me, and I could tell from his beetroot face he was not very happy. I wanted to avoid him, but there was nowhere to go. And so he gets up to me and he says, "I can't believe you've done that." And I'm like, "What? What have I done?" He says, "You have robbed those people of their heavenly reward by thanking them in front of everybody." I've got to admit, we then engaged in a bit of a debate. I thought it was a stupid thing to say, because of course we want to thank people, and we don't want to get into semantics about "I thank God for you," because of course we do thank God, but we want to cheer people on, we want to be grateful, we want to be encouragers. Particularly when we look at the rising generation of young people today, there's so much negativity spoken out about them. 71% of all articles in the press are negative when it comes to our young people. If ever there is a body of people who are cheering on this rising generation, it should be the church. It should be you and me, speaking well, cheering on, encouraging, doing everything we can to build up this generation to go on and do great things. As they run their race, they know we're standing with them, like the crowd of witnesses in Hebrews 12 saying, "Come on, go for it, be awesome for God, give it all you've got, and know that we have got your back." So folks, don't make history, change the future. Embrace a marathon relay baton carrying faith life. Run your race, run it well, pass the baton on, and cheer like crazy. If every single one of us did this, if every single one of us were committed to set up and invest and pour our lives into the next generation, encouraging them to do the same, then the kingdom of God and the family of God and the impact of the kingdom would grow from generation to generation, from decade to decade, from century to century. And that's our prayer, isn't it? That God's kingdom would come and His will would be done on earth as it is in heaven right now, in our lifetime. That's what we're praying for. We believe that it can happen, one life at a time. You doing your bit, me doing mine. So don't make history. Change the future, one life at a time.